Hello, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Ox, here on the show this evening. It's the one and only Southside, and the legend is the Jaffa. How we doing, boys?
Hi, good Ox. Good to be with my good mate Jaffa, and good evening to everyone listening in this evening.
How you doing, Ox? How you doing, Southside?
Right. We know it's all over Twitter. Something's happening at Ibrox. We've got the Southside correspondent ready to go down there if there's any live action. Jaffa's phoning in for Dallas, so he's going to visit. If he goes to Southside, goes to Ibrox, Jaffa's going to see Debbie. Right, anyway.
That'll do me.
Right. How are you, Jaffa?
Not bad, mate. All things considering, obviously, no doubt we'll half and quarter it as the show goes on, but a lot to talk about.
I was thinking of having a quiz.
That'll do. Just move on. Obviously, a bit of a come down from Thursday night, Ox.
I know you two like your general knowledge, Southside.
Always.
Is there any of you two gentlemen want to go first? We're going to talk about the game first, the actual game itself. Nobody? Nobody?
Well,
we toss a coin, right? Southside head.
Tails as always.
Tails as.
Tails as. I knew you were going to say that on the list. Where do you start? Lacklustre, poor, murder to watch, and just not acceptable to be watching that type of performance.
Is it one-off? Is it one-off?
You could flip it slightly and say you're missing 4 players that might have started. So obviously the 4 that's coming in, and plus the injuries extra we've got, probably wouldn't help. So on a performance like that, probably 3 points is what was required and got. But honestly, it was dire. It was really dire to watch.
Dire. I think you've been polite. Jaffa, if it was a one-off, it's not an issue, is it?
No. If it's a one-off, it's you dust yourself down and you move on, and you're just glad you got the 3 points, because that's the only positive thing you would take out of it. But I think as we all know, and we're all watching it with our own eyes, it's not a one-off, Fox. It's a repeat offender, isn't it? It's just a Jekyll and Hyde performance again. From Thursday night to Sunday.
Okay. The game started, I thought Motherwell were more on the front foot than us, Jaffa.
They were. Chris passing, getting forward in droves, really taking up good pockets, always a man available for a pass. I'm talking about Motherwell Locks, and all we done was every time we got the ball back, we kept giving it back to them. Which went on for about, 15-20 minutes, once or twice, but it must have happened a dozen times, if not more, where we just continually gave the ball back to them, lost possession, couldn't trap the ball, couldn't keep the ball.
I agree. So we didn't start well, Southside. With Scott Wright playing in the Tom Lawrence role, the way I seen it. Jaffa, that was how I seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of almost playing like a number 10, Scott Wright, or tried to play him like a number 10, where he was getting the ball and just driving forward, but with very little end product, from Scott, unfortunately. But it certainly looked like that was the setup box, with Matondo out in the flank. So
we're lopsided. So our whole team is going to the right side of the pitch. Yeah, the whole play, everything's. It's as if the pitch is on a slant.
Certainly looks that way for long periods of the game, because there was nothing happening down the other side. It just, and again, Ox, I'm still, having watched the game, on the telly yesterday. Granted, I wasn't at Ibrox like Southside was, but it was hard to figure out what the setup was and what it is we were actually trying to do. was no width again. I felt in the park, you know, we couldn't stretch Motherwell, and Motherwell, that played into their hands because they were good at getting the ball out of their defence and breaking on us continually.
So would that be fair? We're lopsided, and we got Wright playing in that narrow left side. Everything's 2/3 of the pitch. I don't see the sense.
No, I was surprised because Matondo's done his best sort of work on the left-hand side, and I thought Scott Wright would have went to the right-hand side. I was surprised when I seen the setup at the start and they had switched the two of them. He was playing left and he was sort of drifting inside. I think the idea was he had a good run after about, 10 to 15 minutes, maybe in the first half. They gave him the ball, he turned and he ran the straight line right directly at them. I think that might have been what they were trying to do and get him on the ball, but it never really happened throughout the first half at all. And they was sort of playing on the left in a 4-2-3-1 sort of system, but it looks at Ox.
The inside left, mate, he wasn't hung on the touchline, yeah?
No, he was drawn in. It's like a false number 9, isn't it, the way he sort of plays?
I don't know. I don't get it, mate. And then you're expecting your fullbacks to run up and they've got to do everything, and it's still working. Let's be honest, Jaffa.
No, it's not working, Ops. It's not working. And obviously very quickly after Matondo, you know, his injury, we kind of changed to a version of a 3 at the back. But it looked more like a 7 at the back on occasions, to be honest with you.
Couldn't agree more, mate. Couldn't agree more. Yeah. You know, so we take off an attacking player and we bring on a centre-half. Understand that you change your shapes outside, but obviously, if he's doing that and no swapping for Seamer, no light for light, or even giving the boy love was a crack, maybe I don't know if he could play there. There's so many things that you can pick holes in. You know, ultimately, what he'll say is we kept a clean sheet, but let's be honest, we were fortunate as the game ran on Southside.
As the game developed, I think most people were probably surprised in the ground when Suter came on, but you thought, well, okay, he's got to do something tactical. Like you said, probably get the midfield a bit further up, maybe look to get the passing going a bit quicker, even like one of the centre backs, maybe stride up forward a bit and try and link the midfield. But it felt like Lundstrom and Cifuentes were sitting a bit deeper at times, so it didn't really materialise. Like you said, we got a clean sheet thanks to probably Jack Butland and one or two of them taking chances when they had good chances in the game, which we gave up. But tactically that way, Ox, it didn't seem to make much difference. It didn't seem to give them much urgency, even when he did change it to the back three. The midfield didn't get pushing up. You didn't see Lundstrom striding across the midfield and trying to go on the ball and pushing forward, or any of our midfield running by even the striker when we're putting the ball up front, trying to link up. So it was just dead lethargic, slow, and just a very disjointed.
So we get the goal. We knocked the ball about well, Jaffa. I think it came Matondo had a shot. I think he'd skewed it wide, and let's be honest, it deflected off of Dessers. It wasn't as if there was a striker's instinct in there, the way I seen it anyway.
I saw it similar, right, Ox. I think it was just his foot, moved ahead of him at the right particular split second as the ball was coming through, because as you said, it was going wide. Listen, look, he was there in the right place at the right time. You can't knock the guy for that. Striker's instinct, call it whatever you want. The ball deflects off him and goes into the net. We get the goal, and you think, great, we can kick on here. But after that, it didn't really materialise into anything. We never really got a grip of the game, or got control of the game at any point. I never felt comfortable in the game. If anything, it was the exact opposite.
So we get at half time. We went with a 3-5-2. That's the way we went. Our fullbacks are pushed up. It's different playing one up south side. It's different. You don't get the same time. You've not got the same angles. You don't come late.
No.
Yeah? And the two of them were totally ineffective.
Yeah. You're saying that too. I think Desser's probably, when any time I've watched him when he plays up front, he sells, doesn't he?
No, I'm talking about the two fullbacks. Sorry, mate.
Oh, the two fullbacks going. Aye. The crossing was poor into the box. Delivery was pretty poor for the two of them at times. they did put a couple of nice passes, crosses in, but when that happened, we didn't really have anybody that looked like they could get on the end of it, so that was the thing. But when you're pushing them into the midfield, and obviously you've got Matondo was, for the time he was on the park, but even when Scott Wright was on, when you'd Borna pushing down, Scott Wright, you would think would either be trying to go down the flank or cut inside to make an angle for him. But even that wasn't happening in the game. Borna was either going so far, and I don't know if you could hear it, but he groaned it because he had to retain the ball and pass it back. But where he was right in front of the dugouts.
Nobody in front of him, mate.
Nobody in front of him, mate. Honestly, Ox, there was nobody to put that ball up to.
No,
and he done the right thing, you know, but you could hear the stadium groaning, whether they were groaning at him or whether it was just the fact that it was lack of players being available to receive the ball.
So I don't really know what shape these changes they make, because it looked as if we didn't go to a 3-5-2, because we never had 5 midfielders, Jaffa, but we had the 3 central backs, with the two full backs ahead next to the 2 central midfielders, which became 7 defenders, and then we had Wright playing, I don't know where he was playing, Dessers up top, and I would say that Sam Lammers was playing one behind. So you could argue it was a 3-4-2-1, and that was the best I could make it. And that's ridiculous, mate. Ridiculous.
Well, I mean, why are we playing so many defensive-minded players in a whole match, Ox? You know, I get Southside makes a good point. 4 guys out, 4 starters. I understand that. But our pool's big enough. A squad of players is big enough to be able to cope. It should be. It absolutely should be. And I mean, considering how many new personnel we've brought in, and some of the guys that we've managed to get back for injury and so forth, and some of the young guys that are chatting on the door, we should be able to take care of Motherwell at Ibrox. Especially, the way the game panned out as a 1-0, a really turgid 1-0. Difficult to watch. We never get any control of the game. I don't understand. I mean, it looked to me when Motherwell, who were on the attack quite a lot of the time, we had 7 guys defending, like seven defenders on the park in our box, and that just, if anything, when the game got to that stage, it left us even shorter up front because we couldn't break, and we didn't have the pace to break. There was no pace and turnover. It became a really disjointed performance overall after that. After the second half took a hold and got developed into the 70th, 80th minute. It was really, really difficult, Ox.
Yes, we huffed and puffed at opportunities to make chances, even with the personnel we had in the park. But we failed miserably. Southside, the best chance I think maybe came when we had a bit of Stramash, when Lammers done everything right, when he ran through, he slipped in Dessers. Dessers hit it well enough. The boy, what's his name? Kelly plays in goals for Motherwell with a decent save. The boy broke the Lammers. He had a couple of efforts, so that was about it in the second half. That was near enough it, mate. So, and then the rest of it, for the last 10 minutes, the mistakes we made, and we're all over the place. And I've no mentioned John Suter. I like Big Suter, but I thought he had a nightmare when he came on. Nightmare.
He got caught under the ball again. One of the high balls came in. He got caught under it. The only thing I thought it was good to see was when there was a couple of instances in the box, we had 2 players going for a one ball. It's no ideal, definitely no, but it showed that they were committed to try and get one, at least try to get it out the park. Did look a bit nervy. They did push on and they were trying to play their 1-2s. Listen, Motherwell done all right throughout the game. They probably thought in the last 15 they obviously flung on more players and wanted to try and see if they could get something out of the game. They were adventurous in the first half as well, give them credit, but in the last 10-15 minutes we just looked a bit disjointed. Did look like we were hanging on. We didn't have the pace to break, like you said. And I think circumstance, we having to make the subs and refresh it, it's probably how we ended up. The midfield is struggling for players as it is, and bringing Ryan Jack on as an art defensive midfielder probably shows that it's how we finished the game, with the back 3 plus 2 fullbacks, and then you've got your Lundstrom and Hingme. So it's down to the bare bones, Ox, and that's how it's looked like. But listen, we held out, we got to 3 points, but performance has to improve rapidly, and that's something we'll maybe touch on and see how we think it can get better going forward.
All right, okay. Jaffa, before we get the phone lines opened.
Yeah, I mean, Ox, the performance is it's not acceptable. I mean, Michael Beale said that himself. I mean, it's not acceptable. We can't, and I think a lot of us, after Thursday night's heroics and such a good result and a good second half performance, last 5 minutes of the first half, you're thinking that the players are going to, they're going to get a bounce off in that, and they're going to, we've turned a corner. And I'm wondering if he thought that as well, that we've turned a corner. But to go out and produce a performance like that pedestrian, really slow, pacey, walking pace football, I'm at pains, Ox, to understand what it is we're trying to do and what our formation is and what the actual, what the team tactics are, what the game plan is. I'm not sure. I'm puzzled by it all.
I don't think you're the only one. Would you agree with that, Southside?
Aye, just about 99.9% of reports like that, apart from Michael Beale. He's the only one that thinks it seems to have an idea. Everybody else can't work it out yet.
Either we're all stupid or he's a genius. I don't know what it is, mate, yeah.
Aye, well, listen, it can't get any worse, surely. That's the worst I have seen in a long time, and that's after a victory, and there was some boos ringing around the stadium, and probably more out of frustration, I think, because you could go for Thursday night to a team who got a bit of belief, tried to play through the lines, started to have a go at betters, to that performance on Sunday, and how flat it was, and just disjointed at times it looks, it's just, you can't work it out, Ox. That's the frustrating thing.
I tend to agree with you, big man. I tend to agree with you, if we were on a good run of form and everything was rosy in the garden, you just say, 3 points, you move on, Jaffa. But these performances,
absolutely.
There's been 4 league games at home, am I right? 4? 3, yeah. 3 league games at home, am I right? Livingston, them, and obviously Motherwell, yeah. So we've scored 5 goals, conceded 1, right? But we've not performed in any of the games, even the 4-0 game against Livingston. We scored the goal, didn't play great, and then got the goal. The second goal kills it. Their heads go down and you get two goals, or a couple of good goals in that. But we didn't play well for about 75 minutes in that game neither, if we're being honest. Throw in the away performances. Kilmarnock, Ross County, and St Johnstone, yeah. Okay, we went to St Johnstone, 1-2, we won at Ross County, similar scoreline, and then we beat Kilmarnock. But the performances haven't been great. And then you throw in the European games, where we were huffed and puffed in a couple of games. Okay, Ibrox got beat heavily in PSV. We see, all right, step up as we're building a new team. But there's no blue shoots in recovery, we cannot see what's happening, Jaffa, and we're not all stupid.
Absolutely, Ox. We're not stupid. The fans know. It's difficult. It's really challenging to sit and watch that kind of football, because it's just not what we've been used to watching for many a year. There isn't any sign of it. You get the odd game. I mean, yeah, Thursday night, credit where credit's due. The second half performance, it was a really good game. We were, John Lundstrom was striding up and down the left-hand flank. He was on the right-hand side. He was grabbing the ball. He was turning with it. There was a lot of pace and endeavour, and real, they were, spreading the pitch, and we were taking Betis, at their own game. But we done none of that yesterday. We done absolutely none of that. No midfielder got pass marks. No defender got pass marks. No forward player get past marks. The only player that actually played yesterday was Jack Butland, and he had numerous saves. And I agree with Southside. If it's not for Jack Butland yesterday, I suspect we would probably have been beaten. Because Motherwell had a variety of chances, first half, second half, and they genuinely would probably be gutted that they didn't get in and out of the game. Don't know where we go.
I don't disagree with you, mate. I mean, Butland, let's park Jack Butland, because he's been outstanding Southside. You've got to give credit where he's due. Actually, his record didn't bad, didn't it?
No, he's been the plus point so far out of all the signings.
Let's park him, and we talk about the players. And I'll be honest with you, Tav, poor. Gave the ball away a lot, didn't respect to. But this time last year, when he didn't look fit, yeah, he's getting older. We all got older, And then you had Shooter, which we've already mentioned. Big Goldston was okay, but when I say okay, I'm maybe talking about 5 out of 10. Davis maybe the pick of the defenders, 5.5 out of 10. And then Borner was similar to Tav. You move into midfield. Lundstrom was arguably our best outfield player yesterday. The way I see it, I don't know if you think similar. And I'm not being complimentary when I say this. It wasn't an outstanding performance with John. Maybe 6 out of 10. Cervantes shows glimpses, but he's a ball away, he runs out of gas, still no fit. 5 out of 10, maybe even 4.5. Then you go into the forwards area. Sam Lammer's the invisible man. Yeah, he's got a nice touch and can pass the ball given time, but so could any of us. And you had Matondo, who was doing okay and got injured, but we'll come to that. Besser, well, I'll leave that to you to comment on. Then we've got Scott Wright. Well, we know that Scott Wright's not good enough to play for our team. We might as well give a young boy a chance. Might as well throw him in and give him a chance. Southside.
Well, just when you're touching on, I'll not disagree with everything else you've said, but we know the two full-backs are getting older, picked up injuries, they've been off for them. They've not got the engine they used to have, and I just think Michael Beale's got to get rid of the style that he's playing with the two full-backs pushing up, because if they can't do the job to a decent level, Tav gets up forward, Tav gets goals. That's another thing I'll just say quickly before I answer that. Seeing a game like yesterday when it was like that and you're 1-0, it's usually Tav comes up with a big moment or gets his sail in and gets us a goal, and that didn't even happen yesterday. He wasn't even getting into positions to threaten yesterday either, because he's come up in big moments in games for us, But no, you're right in what you're saying about the whole team and the marks that you've gave them. Scott Wright, I mean, the last time he played, would have been, he came on as a sub in a European game, Servette maybe.
I'll tell you.
Round about that, he's come on and then he's not been seen. He was due to go to Turkey. That never happened. We're probably looking to get him a club, and then suddenly he's found himself into the team through probably it being depleted by the players that's out injured, and he's meant to go out there and do his best in a position that he get played in which was unfamiliar to him. He was well playing him on the right hand wing and trying to say, well, you're a winger. And I think Scott Wright, when we signed him up, should have been good to play against the Livingstons, the Motherwells, the Ross Counties and that in a Rangers jersey. But he's not fulfilled the chances. But let's be honest, he's not had a regular run to even see. But he put him into a position that was miles out. And as we said about Dessers, as you've mentioned,
yeah, it's the Scott Wright thing. When I saw the team sheet yesterday, I'm like you, Ox. I'm bewildered by the Scott Wright situation. How he's getting a starting berth. When we've got young Zach Lovelace, who we was well given the young lad a chance. I mean, we've seen everything that Scott Wright can do for us. He's not. I mean, listen, I hate slagging anywhere players. I hate putting them down. I just don't think Scott is. I don't think he's good enough to play at our club, and that's me just saying it as it is. I think he's a decent fella. I think we signed him. He looked in glimpses as if he was going to come onto a game and he was going to develop his game. I don't think Scott's done that. I don't think he's done that at all. I think if anything, his game's probably regressed, and probably a move was the right thing for him. It didn't happen, but he's then blocking the path of one of the young guys that could have got a starting position yesterday. I mean, if you look at the Motherwell team, they've got a young 16, 17-year-old playing in the centre mid position for them. Young Miller, who I thought had a great game yesterday for a young fella at his age. I thought he was absolutely outstanding. And that's what we've got to do. We've got to give the young guys a chance, like Zach Lovelace and Bailey Rice. Give them an opportunity to demonstrate and get that energy into our team. Because our team yesterday looked lacklustre. We were walking about with the ball in the right hand wing at one point. Tav had it, turning back, turning inside, giving it to Lundstrom. He's turning back to the defenders. There's no impetus and there's no drive. And another thing I can't believe, Ox, is what's Michael Beale? Why is he not telling them on the side of the pitch? Why is he not demanding that that's not acceptable? Why wait till after the game and tell us it's not acceptable? Do that during game time. Get the message onto the park. My God, you could. It's not as if he couldn't have been heard yesterday, because the stadium was deathly quiet because of the performance that was getting served up in front of the fans.
Right. We better get these phone lines open. I think we could debate and talk about this all night, but it's a phone-in show, so
Aye, no, it'd be good to hear. Listen, there must be plenty of people get something to say about that performance.
Because we could go on all night. Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
The last time Scott Wright started again for us is 12th of December last year, or the 11th of December, something like that.
No, it was
12th of November. 12th of November.
When was the last time he came on? When was the last time he came on, Ox?
When the last time he came on? Let me see.
Survey it away, wasn't it, I think? But
I survey at home.
Home
when we won 2-1, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Does it do him any favours if you bring him on and stick him in an unfamiliar position and ask him to go and play a role that he's actually, when we signed him, I think we signed him because he played wide in the wing for Aberdeen on the right-hand side.
I agree with you. I thought it was it took me about 10 minutes to work out where he was playing. And then when I seen this, I thought it was maybe just the way the ball had went, maybe down the right. So he was tucking in at the left, being so he could maybe get involved. And then when we did get the ball to the left, he was nowhere near the touchline. And you'd want somebody like him, Jaffa, to isolate the guy McGinn and get past him out wide. No, play into the guy's strength and keep where all the legs are. It's just mental.
Well, exactly, Ox, and that's one of the actual tactics to when teams are sitting so deep. They quite often the way to get to teams that are sitting deep and playing two blocks of five, or the low block, whatever you want to call it, is to get the ball out wide. But I agree with you. Even when Suter came on, we failed to do that as well. To be honest with you, I think we became even narrower when Suter came on. And we as I said, I think we ended up just turning it. It was more like a seven defenders where they took the two sitting.
You kept turning the ball. You've seen things kept breaking down because there was nobody to pass to Jaffa. Yeah,
there was nobody in the middle of the park to turn the ball over and run 20 or 30 yards with it, and run from an attacking, a number 10 point of view, a Todd Cantwell. So if Scott Wright, as Southside says, and I think that's a really fair point, you're asking a guy to play a position that he's completely unfamiliar with. If he's a winger, he's a winger. So if that's not his position, then sure, are you telling us that we've not got another number 10, a young fella that doesn't play that role in either the academy or plays as an out-and-out number 10 or a false 9 or can play in the channel? I don't believe we haven't, Ox. I would need to sit down and go through our squad I just don't believe that.
If we're Hockney, mate, we'll get bigger problems than we think. Right? Southside, you know what disappointed me the most yesterday?
What would that be?
I'm going to be, you might laugh at this, right? There was a couple of things come into my head. When the boy Matondo got injured, I think it was always everybody watching in the stadium and on the TV, he'd gone, and we left him on. Now, how much more damage have we done to that boy? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's just my opinion. And I thought to myself, Young Hadji had a pop a few weeks ago, and I was never Hadji's biggest fan. But come on, he was right.
Well, Hadji, I was surprised he didn't get a lot of game time. And obviously, maybe either what he said or whatever him and Michael Beale spoke about. I think Hadji was ready to play. I think he was fit. I think he was ready to go. And he said that himself. It would have been ideal to have in that team either playing on the right-hand side, slightly out of position, or playing is definitely at the number 10. But he paid £4 million or thereabouts for Lammers. And that's a guy that he entrusted to go into that position. And if he's fit and Todd Cantwell's out injured and that, and as we're saying, then he's the guy that probably should be playing it unless Tom Lawrence comes back. But he's going to boot to after the international break, according to Michael Beale now as well. So Lammers is our only number 10. Jaffa, I don't think we have anybody else. And he can be creative. It's just the style of what we're playing and the system that we're playing. I just don't think we're seeing the best out of the players. It's no Michael Beale's fault that players can't pass a 5 or a 10-yard pass to a Rangers player. You know, some of their passing and their movement was terrible yesterday. And I agree, you'd expect him to be shouting for the sideline, screaming and ball and instructions and getting them to do something and urgency and that, but it never happened. I don't know. I see, to be honest, we're just all frustrated with it at the moment. And yesterday was just the build-up. No great performances whatsoever. Getting over the line, and yesterday was just another one of them, except we were holding on towards the end. But it's down to injuries as well. He's having to contend with. I mean, let's be honest, Raswell can't. Well, Danilo would probably have been back in that team by now. You know, so we have got a big squad, but we're bringing in players now who we might have been shifting out the door, and you can include Matondo in that and all probably, because if he'd left in the summer, there's nobody that comes on this show would have been saying, "Oh, we should have kept him."
No, there would have been over a minute silence if he'd have left it in the summer. You know, anyway, we've been joined by old Davy. Evening, Davy.
Evening, Ox. Evening, excuse me, evening, Suicide. Evening, Jaffa.
How you doing, bud?
Evening, David.
I'm doing fine. I just put a wee shout out for it's my good lady's birthday today. She's 21 years old. So, happy birthday to Janice Bucket.
Did you think that's Glenn? What do you think? That's Glenn Michael's cavalcade?
Oh, God.
Is that tight to go buy her a card? Southside, then he comes over here and tries to get their
Unbelievable.
It's good.
Unbelievable.
What I was going to ask these guys, right, hold on, I get my serious face on here. Okay, right, here we go. Here's one for you, right? Do you think that the way things are at the present moment, we're going down a Pedro Caixinha scenario? Because that's what it looks like to me, guys.
Jaffa?
Aye. What do you mean, Davey, a Pedro Caixinha type scenario? What do you mean?
Well, you seen the way he screwed up the team, didn't you? And he was doing the exact same thing. His tactics are nuns.
Well, I can't disagree with you there, Davey. I wouldn't disagree with a word of that. His tactics are nuns. But I agree with what Southside's just said, and it's a very, very fair point. Michael Beale's not to blame for two midfielders, one of which who used to play in the EPL that can't pass a ball 5 yards and 10 yards between each other and control it.
I agree with that.
he puts the players on the park and he's fully expecting them to turn in a performance and go and be professional. And I think that's the problem, Davey. The players ultimately are the guys that hold his destiny in their hands, because if they go out and do their jobs and do what he's asking them to do, then we're not having these conversations. But the reality is that's not what's happening. So somewhere along the line, some either the players or a combination of the players and the manager isn't working, or one or the other isn't working, because as Ox said at the start of the show, this isn't just one game now, is it? It's it's a number of games that's happened, and we're seeing the repeat performance here. If it's a one-off, you don't bother. You say, right, fair enough.
I'll elaborate on what you're saying. Are you saying that the coaching staff are not good enough, or is a disconnect between the players, or we've signed bad players? What's the point? Or is it all these things, David?
Oh, definitely recruitment. You've got to look at the recruitment. I mean, it's obvious. If you're doing a regroup, a reshape, what you want to call it, you start with a good goalkeeper, which we've done. Thank God that's what we've done, because we should have lost that game, whether we like it or not. You start from the back, and then you fill up, and you fill up, and you fill up. What have we got? We've got 3 players there that have been there for about the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And we're talking about getting fresh legs in. No, that's not working. I watched Barisic take a shy yesterday. And I've never seen it in all the years I've watched football. He took a shy and he actually threw it out the park back to them. What's that? You get in his case, he falls apart.
Man. Okay, I get your point, mate. Right, easy to moan, easy to come up with down things, south side. But what's the cure?
That's the one well, half of the support would maybe say, or some of the support would say, get rid of the manager, and the rest of will say, or some will say, look, they just need to start, or what we're talking about. I mean, come on, you can't pass a ball 5 years, 10 years to a Rangers player, really control it. I mean, they do plenty of training, Ox. That's not acceptable, right? You can take that away. Within the system, I don't know if the players fully believe the system. We moved the ball about, we pass it, and we're playing high balls into the box. Dessers isn't great in there, and we've not really noticed it. And who else will be playing in there up front?
And you telling me he's better to Grun and he isn't there?
No, but I'm just saying that he's no, and we're putting boys in like that. We need to play through the lines. We need to play through the middle at times. We can't keep going down the wings. That's tactics. That's down to Michael Beale. That's what he's asking these players to do. So when you're doing that, how you might get somebody like Sam Lammers or your number 10 on the ball? How's he meant to go on the ball then, if we're talking about how do we move it forward?
No, answering the question. Give me the cure.
The cure is we've got to get the players back and play a better system. Then the system's got to be better. They've got to get better.
You're putting a large percentage of this down to injuries. That's fair if that's what you're doing.
Well, there is injuries. We can't deny it. It wasn't great before it, but we've hit injuries now, and we've got injuries to players who aren't going to come back until after this break. He's trying to say Danilo wouldn't be a difference on Dessers at the moment.
Well, up until Perth, mate, Danilo was doing the pecking order, wasn't he?
Aye, I understand, but we're only judging it for Perth. If we were saying we're starting again and we're looking at it and straight away, we've got 2 players back who influenced the game at Perth, and now the 2 of them are out injured. Tom Lawrence, who created the second goal, and Danilo, who scored the first one.
So injuries are a big part of it. Jaffa, give me the cure.
Change the manager.
Yep.
Is it as simple as that?
I don't think it's as simple as that, Ox. I wouldn't be foolish enough to say that. I get that there's more at play. There always is. I think Southside's bang on. I think we've been unfortunate again with injuries. An injury list appears to be growing again. And we're only 6 league games into the campaign. But I've seen enough, folks. I don't think it's working. I don't think there is any tactics. Clearly there is. Okay, that's really quite foolish of me to say that. Of course there's tactics. Whatever it is, his game plan is. But I don't think he's able to transfer that game plan from the training ground.
Are you telling me that the players only buying into the guy standing at the side? Is that what you're telling me, Jaffa?
Pretty much, aye. Yeah. I wouldn't even say it's a case that they're not buying. I don't think either a combination of not buying into it or they don't understand what it is the message he's trying to get across.
Well, Davey, football's a simple game. If they can't understand it, what's the issue?
Oh, definitely. I've got the cure for it. Hey, you listening?
Aye, I'm waiting for
right. A Saudi Arabian Masonic billionaire.
Sheikh Mahon.
do you know him as well? No, but I know that Jaffa's made a great point there, and you've made a great point. And the sacking the manager at this moment in time, I don't think that's going to be the answer for us because you sack him.
Playing devil's advocate again, Davey, and I don't disagree with what you're saying. But how long does this go on, mate?
Well, this is what I'm going to say. That was what I said. If you don't sort it now, everyone's heading in the wrong direction. If you've got to bite the bullet and start again, well, so it might be, but it might not take as long to recover. But this way we're going to be 1, 2, 3 seasons out of sync. That's the way it's heading up, guys.
Yeah, Robert was on yesterday. I don't know if you had the show Southside, and he said that the guy's emptying Ibrox, and obviously I'd be interested to see what the crowd is. So the board of directors then have other issues to look at. They might not be able to afford to keep him, but can they afford to rid him, but can they afford to keep him?
Well, they obviously chose to keep him during the last break. Listen, Davey, if he goes on the run that we said up to the break and he goes undefeated, does that take the heat off him then?
Well, that's actually...
Because that's what we asked for.
Sorry?
Right, that's what we asked for, right? We asked that he has to win these next batch of games, definitely. Yeah. So, the board listening to the boos on Sunday, probably at the final whistle, they heard that obviously the game when we played them. Performances, I think if he was asked, he'll say, well, I'm missing key players, but you can't kid a kidder. At the end of the day, the performances have been rotten for most of the time since the start of the season. We've had wee flashes here and there, a nice play now and again, but it doesn't. They don't sustain it for long periods in the game. We only other night's the first time we come back off a European game and there was a debate about who was the best player or who had the best game, and we picked 3 or 4 players that we thought were good, played well on the night. That's the first time this season that we managed to pick a player, because every time we pick a man of the match, it's usually Butland, including
the friendly Southside.
Aye. The board have seen the reaction and the support, they know. And listen, if you're sitting there as a director, as we sit there as fans, they're watching the exact same thing as we're watching. So, but the only difference is they put faith in that guy at the moment, and it's down to him to get a tune out of these players. But I think he has to slightly change a system of some kind, Ox, because what he's asking the players to do at the moment, it's not really happening. It's not fluid enough, and we're not going into a game where we could say, oh well, we won 1-0 on Sunday, but guess what? It could have been 4 or 5 if it wasn't for their goalie, or we missed that one or that one. We were stinking on Sunday for creating chances.
We were stinking the week before as well. We weren't great at playing, let's be honest.
No. If we'd probably scored another goal on Sunday, it might have probably wouldn't have been too as much critical. It might have took a bit of pressure off if we'd nicked another goal, maybe 5 minutes after we scored that one. Maybe, no. Might have changed the mood slightly. Maybe we'll not get booed off at 90 minutes.
Aye, maybe. Aye, Jaffa, the stats, okay, I get it. We're not losing any goals. We're winning games. We've had obviously a couple of setbacks, but since we come back, we've not lost a goal. Scored 4, conceded nothing, won 3 games, and people say you're still not happy. But it's the big picture, not just the little picture.
Aye, and that's absolutely true, and that's factual, Ox. We're winning games, and Southside's correct to a point that that's what we've asked for. We've asked for them to go and win the next batch of games. But I think it's the performances, I think, and the manner and the way we're going about winning those games. And I think, well, the way I'm only my opinion. I think that'll run out. I don't think you'll get away with like the game in yesterday. I don't think you'll keep getting away with games like that. I think he's only a matter of time till he gets caught and he drops more points. And that's the way I see it. Because we're giving up too much possession to the opposition. We're not defending properly. We're giving up too many chances to the opposition. Especially at home, where we should be at our strongest. And I think we would all agree with that. That's when most teams are at their strongest, when they're in their own backyard. And I don't see. I would be right behind Michael Beale, Ox, if I saw the tactics and I saw the players absolutely deploying those tactics and putting them into game time, into match time. And I'm still yet waiting for that to happen. Yeah, there has been the odd wee flash here and there, like Thursday night, and I'm sure Michael Beale, might be pulling his hair out as well. Himself saying, how can we go and do that on Thursday night and then we turn a performance in like that on a Sunday? Only he'll know that, because only he's in the inner circle of what's going on at the training ground and what's happening in the dressing room. And I know injuries have got a part to play in it. I fully accept that and I understand that. A big part to play in it. So I don't want to underestimate that. But I still can't see what it is he's trying to. I just can't see the tactics of what he's trying to do. And that's just the way I see it, Ox. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, the frustration is we're not scoring enough goals, Southside. But we're not even making enough chances, Davey, are we?
That was Southside for me.
But you, Davey?
No, of course we're not. We can't make enough chances because we've not got anybody there to make them. I mean, St. Quentin is supposed to be this box to box. I get to see it. Dessert just can't even stay on side.
I think his pace is deceiving, Davey. Dessert, I think he's slowing the looks. Southside.
Aye, his pace, he's not got a lot of pace. He runs off more times than Sakala, but at least Sakala done something eventually when he ran onside. Listen, he's
I miss fashion.
I know. Well, we've took that threat of pace and goals out of squad, Ox. He couldn't, up to Michael Beale, but he couldn't find maybe a position from in his starting 11 that he had in his head at the time. And I keep thinking back to Kolak, maybe he wasn't the greatest player on the deck, but he certainly knew how to score goals. But I don't even know if they two could score goals in that system that he's playing now, to be honest. Because it's we had Raskin and Cantwell who played in that team last year, and for some reason he's made them look worse this year. I mean, how's that possible? Players just don't go after the boil, just do it. No, a player's a player. You know, Raskin can't just fall off a cliff the way he has and say we can't well. And it's due to his tactics and his style of play. There's no other reason for it.
One of your crimes in life is loyalty. Is that fair?
I'll agree with that.
And you also like to give people a chance, and you also like to you look for a positive most of the time. Yeah, is that also fair?
Aye, okay.
Aye. Give me a positive this season.
We beat Betis at Ibrox.
All right. Okay, man. All right.
And he gets Super 6 up and all.
I'm glad you mentioned the Super 6.
Davey, what you doing to me, Davey?
Oh, you were unlucky. You had a crossbar.
No, I didn't. He'll explain it now and just absolutely
Oh, I know.
ripping at him.
I've heard all about it.
I like Jaffa come in. I'm sure he'll have chuckled when the running commentary came in. Jaffa?
I'm saying nothing. I'm not getting involved in that. I'll leave that to you. Super 6.
If only the people knew Southside there.
Aye, I know. 5 out of 6. Disgusting.
That was true, by the way. I came in on Saturday about 4 o'clock. First result I seen was this. Oh, man. Oh, God.
Last man standing and all.
Out. Only the top people are still in.
I'd have been wishing you I couldn't.
Sophie Bear.
Aye.
Still going strong, Jaffa.
Yeah, aye. She chose wisely, actually. She chose wisely.
Aye. So Partick Thistle knocked you to the Super 6. Beat your Super 6, and he also knocked you to last player standing.
Aye, sure did.
Wow.
Look at big cheesy on his face, Jaffa.
I can see him through
I'm giggling.
I can see him through that office window.
Might turn into that Leeds fan and just kecking him now.
You're trampoline it.
Oh dear. I wasn't going to mention the Super 6. Wasn't going to bring it up at all? Did you mention it?
But I'm giving him a compliment. I'm talking about he's talking about anything he's produced this season. It's been constructive. Well, he did. He got his Super 6 up.
That's true.
33 he won.
The only shining light we've had this season is our goalkeeper. And how poor is that, Jaffa?
Well, I think they always say that, don't they, in any game? If your goalkeeper's man of the match, it usually is a true reflection of the match, isn't it? So, Jack Butland has, on more than one occasion this season, he's kept it at 0 for us, which ultimately he's given us the 3 points on a number of occasions, Ox. I agree with Southside. The only one shining positive this season was on Thursday night. Was that second half performance where they went toe to toe with a really, really good team. The boy in the middle of the park, they really took the game to him. So, but just not enough, folks. And you can't. You'll never win anything just doing that every. Turning in one performance every dozen games or 13 games. That won't work.
All right, we've been joined by Smurf. Evening, Smurf.
Evening, everybody.
Yes, Smurf.
No bad, mate. So, points aside, points tallies, winning leagues, whatever, all that aside, right? Even if you get a bridge, man, Christmas, the football they're playing, players aren't buying into it. There seems to be a disconnect between him and the players because he's been through them apparently after the game. And do you think he'll be there at Christmas? I can't see a scenario where Michael Beale is there after Christmas.
Southside.
Better at Christmas if we're top of the league, Smurf.
think so.
Well, aye, that's what I would
Do you think he's going to beat that with the league at Christmas? Realistically, we're 4 points behind the now.
Aye, right, but they're no world beaters, right? And we're no. The only thing is we're not playing any type of forum. Smurf to say confidently that aye, we can go on a run of games. Motherwell, if Motherwell would have been off the park on Sunday, I still don't think we could have put the ball in it. Do you know what I mean? It was that bad.
Oh,
but
aye.
you've got to look and hope that we'll play better on Wednesday, and then we'll beat Aberdeen on Saturday. And you've just got to hope that we can put a performance in. They're not going to get time to do much training. This will be rest day, and then they'll probably analyse the game, and then it'll be straight back out to play. And he's down to the bare bones with some of the players in the injuries, so he's just asking these players mostly to go again. I don't think he'll make many changes on Wednesday night. I don't think he can afford to.
I don't think he's got him to change with. But the point is that you come up against an Aberdeen team, their tails are up. They've just done a 4-0. They've not been great though before that. But that's another point that I want to make. It's like there's nobody in Scotland interested in. That was the statement.
The tails are up. Aberdeen have beat Ross County and Stirling Albion this year, mate.
I know that, but the last game there, they just won 4-0. That's right. That's only team, but their tails are up, isn't it? After a bad spell, like your tails are up, and we get a good second half. We've had one good second half all season, and everybody's gone, oh, maybe the coins turned and all the rest of it. Rangers are garbage. There's just no two ways about it. What you're watching is garbage. You said at the beginning of the season, they wouldn't sign anybody in Scotland because they're not good enough. If anybody told me that Dessers was better than Majowski, I'd laugh at him. Aye, the boy at Aberdeen. It's a better player than him.
Well, a wise man was telling us, local, go for a boy and come in and lead the line for his score goals. Sound familiar?
Aye, well. I can't see, see when everybody was fit and he had all these options, didn't know who to pick. And there was, Cantwell's pulled from pillar to post. Just to me, it's just he's not got a clue. That's what it looks like to me. He's just not got a clue.
Is it the management side he's struggling with? Perhaps Cantwell at Rugby Park, best player, arguably our best player, doesn't start on the first game of the season. Replaces him with a visible man, so his nose is out of joint. Is it that side that they're getting me struggling with Jaffa?
I don't think that helped, Ox. I'm not going to lie. I think Cantwell, would have probably taken the huff at that, or at least, maybe the huff's the wrong word, but I don't think he would have been pleased opening game of the season. I know not been in the starting 11, and he'd signed the variety of players that he'd signed, and he was trying to shoehorn a few of them in, namely Sam Lammers that day. And no doubt, like every other professional footballer nowadays, Cantwell's probably taking that as a bit of a slap in the face. The new boy, the rest of it. So I don't know for sure, Ox. That's a bit of just looking for the outside in. But Cantwell was the shining light. He was the guy that was the flavour of the fans, and the fans were all right behind him and getting all the shirts printed up with the kids with their names on his back. So that wouldn't have helped. I don't think that would help. And wee things like that can just tip the seesaw, and it can get a few of the players if he's got a few guys on, they're on wee cliques, and that happens in every dressing room up and down the country. So the man management side of the Ox is critical. It's really important that he gets that right.
All right. Talking about man management, right, use lot. Get yourself on mute. We're going to have a tune.
See them march on, marching on through the years of history. Heads held on high, for the jersey they will do or die. Fight for time, play the game with the minds of see them march on, but as high as they climb before you, loyal and true. On the wing to cheer the boys in blue. Follow they will, marching on to the songs of glory. Win, lose or draw, that's the Glasgow Rangers story.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
On you go, Smurf. Carry on, mate.
Aye, so just, I mean, I was just thinking about what Suicide said there, you know. It's a good point where obviously they're the world beaters. They're in disarray and all, right? But should we know be taking our own destiny into our own hands? Proper investment, buying proper players, with ability, and own it, rather than relying on them being at sixes and sevens, or maybe no gelling, or lacking their own investment. Maybe it's just economics of Scottish football, I don't know, but all I know is your net spend is peanuts. Can you consider what was spent out and the money that's come in for them, etc., etc.? And you're not going to go and get world beaters for the amounts of money we're spending. So therefore, what you need is industry and pace and stuff like that. And then everybody's boat can run.
Aye, but I looked him in the eye, Jaffa. I looked him in the eye. I looked him on the running track.
Well, this is with every manager, you know, they fall by the sword on their recruitment, don't they? That's what either makes them successful or not successful is the players that they sign, and that's just a fact of life. And we've seen this loads of times before, you know, with Paul Le Guen and going out and spending this and this player and that player for France and this one for, you know, all over Europe, and it didn't work ultimately because he lost his job because he couldn't put a team on the park. You know, and we've seen other managers come in and do it on a budget. And
I'll cut across
that's just
Jaffa.
the way it goes.
I'll cut across you. Kirky, I think you've joined us, mate. I think you might have a show on in the background.
I know you, mate.
Can you turn it off, mate? Aye.
That's how off, aye.
Right, we can still hear noise for you, mate. I don't know if it's your TV or.
It's on my TV now.
All right, carry on. The floor's yours.
Just a bit of question here now is, I mean, don't get me wrong, Rangers aren't playing well. They're not playing well at all. But I think Beale, he was starting to build a side, but as soon as he seems to get somebody in, it started to play well, they're out into it. And it's just one of your panel, what team you would pick just now, when they're all fully fit. You know, like you got Cantwell's and even Raskin, well, Batonda's away now, I guess, no fit. He couldn't play Seema or Ruth at the weekend because they're carrying injuries. Could your panel tell me what team you'd play if they're all fully fit?
All right. Southside, give us your starting 11. No injuries.
Cheers for that. No, it's a good question. Right, we can only base it. Can't really base it in form because of they've not really been in form. But I think I would have probably looked at. It would have been Butland, Tav. I would have been looking at Yilmaz developing and going forward. I would have been hoping to him. I would have had probably Golson and Ben Davis at the moment. Midfield, I would have Raskin. Cantwell would be my 10. I would play Dowell on the left and up front, I would have Roof and Danilo. I need to pick another one, don't I? Fully fit. Roof, Danilo. I'd find Cifuentes a place in the team. I'd probably have Cantwell playing as a number 10.
4-2-3-1. So who's your number 9's Danilo, with the 3 behind him is Cantwell.
I'd have Roof in my team up there if he's
Roof.
fully fit.
Alright, so alright. So who's your 3 behind? Cantwell, who else? Lawrence, and who are you playing the right of the midfield?
I didn't even mention Lawrence, to be honest.
Or did you know?
No.
Well, so who's your 3 behind then?
Cantwell.
Uh-huh.
Who did I name? Cantwell. Hadraskin, Cantwell. Dill playing left.
Dill left, yeah.
Aye. Kieran Dill, I think we're missing him. I think he gives energy and dig. Aye.
Alright. So
And play I'll swap Cifuentes and put Tom Lawrence on the right.
Alright. Jaffa, you're starting 11. He's baffled me.
Not a million miles away, I guess. If all personnel are fit and healthy, Butland, probably have Golson and Davies, and I would also have Ridvan in there at left back with Tav. I would probably just go a straight 4-3-3. I'd probably have Raskin in the middle, and I would have Tom Lawrence to the left, Cantwell probably on the right, and then up front I would have had Danilo, Matondo. I'm trying to think who else I would have on the right hand side. I'm struggling.
So everybody's fit. You can only name 10 players. We are struggling, aren't we?
I'm not getting a list in front of me, to be fair.
Right, so you've got Seema, you've got
Seema, probably go with Seema. Naturally go with a 4-3-3.
Well,
I'd probably go with Seema if all personnel were fit, to go in the right wing.
Alright. I don't understand where these two are coming from. How do you think Midvan's going to get a load of Borna, even though Borna was atrocious yesterday? Performance he put us in Johnston. I think in a moment, if you were picking a team, the only certainty would be Butland. But if you were picking it, but we'll go it, you thought with Tav and Connor, Ben Davis at the moment, Borna Barisic, and if you're playing a 4-2-3, it would be Lundstrom. He's the last couple of games he's been alright, along with Raskin, and in front of them Cantwell on a 10, Tom Lawrence to the left of them, Seema and Roof up top. There you go. How's that grab you, Kirky?
I would just agree with there. Actually, as I say, that the teams you've mentioned there, they're probably one of the players fit. So that makes it even worse. I mean, you got it down like your pal Wright in yesterday because Seema's she's carrying a knock. Bruce carrying a knock. So the players you mentioned there, that's like 8, 9 out injured of that first team squad.
I mean, the team I mentioned yesterday, there was Raskin missing, Cantwell missing, Lawrence missing. Roof was on the bench. Yeah.
They're carrying injuries.
I know. I think the two of them will start Wednesday.
I mean, you've lost Matondo as well. That's something in there. So, I mean, he would come on to a game, the boy. I mean, some of the players, they're really needing 5 weeks, which I thought would be quite a good thing, Kevin. The boys are injured. Right, they've got 5 weeks to make their mark. And they'll be stronger coming off the bench when the Gideons are back. But it's turned on its head now again, isn't it? So.
Yeah, but the team employed the confidence and employed the ideas. We've also been joined by William. Evening, William.
Good evening, brothers. Listen to the show there, Oaks. I got to agree with Smurf. Our team are no fit. They've not got any energy. Well short on energy. Dessers is far too lazy. Or the offsides. He's running about with a big smile on his face. He's doing nothing. How can a man with his experience get caught offside as many times? It's just laziness, if you ask me. At half time, I'd have taken him off and put that boy Lovelace on. That boy can score goals and he's pretty quick. He's got pace, he's got energy, he's a young man. Give him a chance.
Well, put it this way, William. Put it this way. He couldn't be any worse, could he?
Oh no, he just couldn't be. You'd have thought going out that game yesterday, the SNP had brought out a new law, you're not allowed to score any goals. Because that was two teams with no strikers yesterday. And we were absolutely shocking. I mean, in my lifetime, Oaks, I can't remember us being as bad and Motherwell being as good against us in the same day. Can you?
You go back a lot longer than me. Motherwell had a good team in the 50s, didn't he?
That's before my time. That's before my time, just.
Davey?
Oh, no, I'm not getting involved in this. Look, Oaks, I'm going to go and let some of the young guys... and I'll let some of the young guys get in. I promised, I promised Janice I'd give her a birthday present at 9:15, so she just came in with her negligee on there, so I'm just going to give her a present.
Anyway. William,
yes.
Don't talk when other people are talking.
Sorry.
David,
anyway,
we're going to play a tune so you can come back with us, yeah?
Oh, God.
See you later, David. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Remember one thing, guys. We are the people. That's what counts. Good night, guys.
Cheers, mate. Cheers. And you come, William.
Aye. I'm just saying it. Absolutely shocked the performance yesterday.
Aye.
And they were saying that Lammers had 8 shots. And that's more than... I think maybe 4 or 5 of them were on target, but he kept hitting them straight at the keeper.
Aye, but there's a difference, mate. If you know, that's the way you make stats mean anything. Southside.
Aye.
No, he had a shot in the first half. I remember, David, just before half time, and he had one in the second half, which goalie just picked up in his arms. Basically, it wasn't a power. There's no power for just outside the box. I can't really remember him having much more than that, to be honest. But he probably did. I just can't think at the moment. But it's chance creation, William, is what we're talking about. And we're not creating chances. Meaning Dessers got one there when Lammers laid it off to him and he shot for a narrow angle. Probably should have been right across the goalie, try to get across into the bottom corner. But we've not really gave any strikers that we've had on the park at any time real chances.
No.
You know, they've been across, it's maybe dropped to them. And the one that Danilo had in Savret, when Cervantes put it right across the 6-yard line, that's what strikers love, just put it in the net and he missed it. But we're not creating, we're not coming away from games saying, we had 4 or 5 good chances, did that goal had 3 cracking saves in that, or like we said recently, apart from the Real Betis game, we've picked basically Butland has basically been man of the match, you know, because nobody's been shining, nobody's been outstanding. We couldn't. It's just been totally disjointed, and now we've been hit with injuries. And like we said, he's got a core of a lot of the players that's out now. And as the boy said earlier, Roof and Hingme he said they were carrying knocks, and that's us. So we're down to the bare bones in the midfield, and we'll just have to go on with it. So Wednesday night we'll probably not have a lot of changes, but technically we could change the 2 fullbacks if we wanted to, but he probably won't.
I think Livingston will have a go because they've no chance of the league, and they see how bad we are. They might just have a wee go at us. It's something else. I think your players are getting targeted. We're getting too many players are getting kicked off the park. That's Matondo now. There's a couple of hefty tackles on him, and it happened to Cantwell. Cantwell was running the show. Everybody knew he was our top player. Next thing you know, bang. Maeda, he's a Japanese James Bond. You see him playing. He's got a license to kill. The way he tackles, he just gets away with it.
I get your point. I mean, the Matondo one, it was a thrill yesterday, you know, but what disappointed me, Jeff, was how long it took to make the substitution. The hub we made the injury worse.
Aye.
That was baffling, Ox. I thought that was a yellow card. That challenge yesterday, and the guy got. I didn't think he played the ball. I would even go as far to say, it was bordering. It was bordering a red. It was a really bad challenge on Matondo with John McGinn. No, John McGinn was relative, one of the McGinns anyway, Paul McGinn. I thought it was a really bad. And the ref spoke to him. That's it. Just a wee word in his ear. No VAR check, no anything. Matondo went down right away. It was a really, really bad challenge. And ultimately, it's put the lad out. Regardless of whether we see Matondo as part of the team or not. That's 2 weeks in a row, two league games. Last week it was Danilo. He's out. A couple of weeks before that it was Cantwell. The injuries are bad. We're getting back to the levels of where we were last season again. We've got half a dozen players out. Tom Lawrence is back out again. But we're just going to have to find a way. He's going to have to try and put a team on the park that at least cohesively has a formation and a style and a game plan to win the games, Ox. And I think that goes back to the point of why we're some of us are a wee bit more concerned about it's the performances.
Yeah. Do you know my Mrs. Jaffa? You always get the end result, but she's looking for performance, Jaff.
You better believe she is. You better believe it.
Sure, you're shocking.
Anyway, we've been Jordan. Evening, Jordan.
All right, guys. I'm pretty concerned. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty concerned about the way the direction the team's going in now. Can you remember the last time we got a win at Ibrox in a league game? We had 3 points, a clean sheet, and it felt like a loss. Can you remember when the last game that was? Is that kind of?
I didn't think it was a loss. I walked out, I think we'd won, Jordan.
Oh, no. Well, I know we get the 3 points, but after that performance, especially the last 20 minutes, I was pretty shocked. Somebody came on the other night and I won the podcast and says, who are we going to get next beaten after? This is the way a lot of some fans are talking about, whether people think they're nut jobs or not, I don't know. But they're not talking about Celtic or a good European team. They're talking about bang average teams that we should be beating at the end of the day. I don't see what direction we're going in to becoming a successful club again right now. And Beale, the way he's talking now, doesn't film me with any confidence whatsoever. I know he mentioned the other day about the fact that we've gone a step backwards after a positive on Thursday night. Well, we've seen that about 4 weeks ago. So why is it taking them this long? I don't know at the end of the day.
We took 2 steps forward. We took 2 steps forward on Thursday night, Jordan, and we took 1 3/4 back away.
Exactly.
Yeah. Turkey, in your comment, you're looking at it differently, mate, aren't you?
Well, I mean, I'm not doing it wrong. I mean, I'm bitterly disappointed the way Rangers are playing, but I mean, I've watched other Rangers podcasts and they were saying that they'll never be back in Ibrox till Beale's away. To me, that's not a Rangers supporter. You could get critical, but I mean, I can't go to the games now because I'm blind, but I followed Rangers in 1966, right through just before the COVID, and then I went blind. I have seen bad games. I mean, I can mind the Motherwell beating the Rangers 3-0 at Ibrox. But it's just so hard to take because you think they're going to turn the corner and they're not doing it.
We've had worse runs in this, Kirky, ain't we?
Well, obviously, I've seen worse runs. I've been to a lot of runs that the Rangers fans were throwing their scarf on the park and whatnot.
Wow.
That was it was in the 90s or whatever. But
you think of the way
your Rangers through and through. You take the back. You take the hits. You've got to take the hits. You're not defined right to win. But taking the hits, we're not seeing any. What's the word? Improvement, really.
Wow.
But as I say, there's so many, probably our best players are out there now. And we've got to, we're going back to like last year with injuries. But we've still got the same defence. We've got Giovanni Bronkhorst sack. And I think Bill, his only mistake he made this year was not getting defenders in. They've run their course. They're timing their way. Okay, I didn't get it wrong. I mean, Tavernier, gone for it. Good. But defensive, and when he's lost 2 minutes, he's lost that yard of pace. I mean, you've got a boy there that could come in for him. Okay, he'll probably not score as many goals, but I'll guarantee he'll be certainly a far better defender. The same on the other side, I mean, how could you explain? I mean, you haven't really seen enough of Yilmaz to say he's better in defence, but I don't think he's as good crossing the ball. I don't think there's anybody in Scotland better crossing the ball than, what do you call him?
Horner.
Aye. Yeah, and as I say, everybody's saying how bad they are. Aye, they are bad, but he's never got a chance to get a settled side. When they came in at this year, they're needing 4 or 5 games to thingy. He'll pick Kenny's best team, and then they're out injured. So he's got to start all over again. I don't think he's had the same team since the start of the season.
I don't think so, mate. I don't think so. I don't think there's one.
Yeah, he's building right. Cantwell's probably the best number 10 we've ever had for a long, long time. But he thought, right, we'll put, what do you call him? The miserable man.
Lammers.
They tried to put him in there, but I can see how Cantwell's pissed off, to be quite honest. Because he runs that show up there. And you've got to have him, because although Lammers has got good feet, I don't think he's got the stamina and that for Scottish football. Cantwell obviously kick him all apart, which he does every week, and every team has a go at him. And many folks have a go at Lammers. I mean, just let me just tell you something.
They need to find Lammers to have a go at him.
Lammers has got a technical ability, and he's got something there. He has tried to create. I thought he worked a wee bit harder on Sunday than what he had before, even when he gave the ball away a couple of times and he went to fight to get it back. As we said earlier, probably the most player on the park. Had the most shots. Not exactly world-beating shots, but he had shots and on the goal. Cantwell was expressing himself in that position, as we could all see last season. And I think since he started that, I think when it started at Kilmarnock and he didn't play him, said the surface wasn't maybe wasn't for him and come on later or something, he used that excuse. But since then, Todd hasn't played in the number 10 really. He's not had that chance, and maybe when he comes back fit, that's where we should get him into, or else we play a 4-3-3 and we find somewhere just to get him to pick the ball up and go and create spaces. But we need players running by a striker or the strikers. We need players running from midfield, and we've not got that. We don't have it. No. And I think Yilmaz needs a run of games to see, is he going to be trusted? Can he come in and play a number of games? And since he's came, he's got some injury record that's not even, I mean, people are questioning John Suter. And think about Yilmaz, the amount of times he's been out injured. So we need to find out if that boy's got anything. It costs £5 million or thereabouts. So he has to come in and get a run of games. And he should have been an upgrade on Borna, as what we probably thought. And do John Sterling, I agree, should have been, if he's not going to be the guy that's going to take care for Tav, then we'll need to buy another right back and another left back then. That's what we're saying. You know, so these guys have got to get put in there at some point and get playing. And if Tav and Borner's no cutting it, or the system's not working, or we want to play wingers and we don't need them charging up the park and just sit in and do your job, then that's what Michael Beale will need to do. He needs to get this sorted out and get a system and get a style and get us back to winning properly. But I can give him that. I cut him a bit of slack after a European game, but I usually say points are more important than performance, but that was hard to watch, man. Honestly, it was.
The performance champion, Jaffa, and you come.
Oh. The performance champion. It's listen, look, at the end of the day, I said a couple of weeks ago, and I know I said earlier on, my decision was to change the manager. I still I'm still a Rangers supporter. I'll still go to the matches when I can. Go to the European games mainly. I'll be there on Wednesday night at the cup game. I still support the team and I still support what Michael Beale's trying to do as long as he's in the dugout. But there will come a point when the fans can't. They can't, and I know a lot of fans are already at that point. I'm no one for going to the stadium and booing players or booing the manager. It's just not my style. It's not what I've been brought up to do. But at the end of the day, if he's still the manager, I'll get behind him, and I still want the team to win every time they go in the park, and I want to get behind the team. But it's up to Michael Beale. Like Southside said, he's got to come up with the answers. That's what he's paid to do. He's the manager. It's up to him to make the right decisions and put the right team on the park and ultimately get the team playing. And that, as we all watched yesterday with our own eyes, that's not what's happening. Getting a performance at the team on Thursday night didn't seem to be a big problem. For the first 40 minutes, half an hour, again, we were in the game, but we were awfully defensive. And for me, the big thing that he done is he just moved the team 20 yards up the park, which is exactly what happened with PSV at home as well. So I don't know if I never ever thought Michael Beale was a defensive style coach. I don't know. Is he too defensive minded? Is that a question that's ever been asked of him? I'm not sure, because I always thought he played this kind of, he played to every part, every corner of the pitch. He stretched the game. He played on the front foot, as he often said. Forwards pressing the game in the opposition half, not in their own half.
Where are you getting this from?
Pressing it at them.
Where are you getting this from?
That's
I've got a job, and he managed QPR for 22 games, which he only won 8.
That's what I'm saying, Ox. That's my point. What is his style? That's what he's told us. He's told us that he plays expansive style football. He plays on the front foot. But if that's it, with the handbrake off, that was his what he said in, I think, one of his early press conferences. But if that's his style, then I'm sorry, I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing any evidence of that at all.
No. And he come, Jordan.
He's a guy that just chops and changes when he wants, playing players out of positions. I generally don't think it's because I think the players just don't even know what they're playing at the end of the day, and that's what's causing, slowness in the build-up, which we've seen quite often, to be fair, and then just kind of hoping for the best in front of a goal when nothing actually happened at the end of the day, albeit maybe like a decent shot or maybe a lucky deflection. We'll take it in the day. But that's where I think he's feeling massively. And if he can't see that, but the fans can see it, there's something seriously wrong there. And that's what I'm getting after the buzz. The way I think that should be is, at Rangers, is you find a formation as quickly as possible and you stick to that formation. If you're chopping and change it every time, it's not going to work at the end of the day. The problem is we can't find a settled formation right now, and the players don't know what they're doing, and that's why we're not getting the best results and we're dropping silly points at the end of the day. That doesn't just happen in Europe, that's going to happen in the league as well, which eventually is going to cost us the league, and we're saying that far too many times now, to be fair. It's the same episode over and over again, and I don't want to go to watch Rangers at the end of the day and it's like a chore. It's something you don't like enjoying. You might get through it, you might come out of it, but it's an absolute chore at the end of the day. I like to watch Rangers play decent enough football, get good wins, smash teams like Motherwell and whatnot, and keep as much attack of the league as possible and win the league ultimately in the days to win trophies. But right now I'm not seeing that.
Do you think Southside there's another team in the country won 3 games in a row and get the flat in the weekend?
No, probably no. Definitely no. Listen, it's Jordan. See, set the game yesterday. The game was a must-win, right? It's a must-win after a European game. We come off a high, and we have got all these injuries, and now he's going to have to fit a team together to win on Wednesday, because we need to get to Hampden. Yes, we need to win that trophy. That trophy, when they go out, it should be our trophy to win.
Bare minimum.
Right, but that's not going to get played, and it's amazing if we get to the final, we play after a European tie. It's not too bad, that. But that aside, you've got to go and win that. But we need to be winning the league games as well. And he's going to have to find a system and just a bit of continuity in the players. Listen, Todd Cantwell played, and you can see he does well. I think Kieran Dowell fit. I think if he can get him in the team, not everybody's cup of tea, and people say what's he done. I think if he's in playing, he'll make a difference as well. The two of them will run about, they'll get stuck in, and they are good. They are decent players that have played at a decent level. And if you take the horn break off them and let them get a bit forward, and I think it'll make a difference. You bring in foreign strikers, that's the thing. It's always can be a hit and a miss. Some take time to settle on that, and some don't hit the ground running. If you look at Dessers and I said I would have signed Nisbet. I took Nisbet off Hibs, and I could think if he'd as many chances as what Hingmead got, then I think he'd have scored more goals. But even probably put Nisbet in that team, wouldn't even guarantee you give him a chance. It's a midfield to the front line to create chances. He needs to get something in place, and he is a rookie manager, and he tells you he told us a lot, but maybe he was getting more credit. I think under Gerrard obviously played at Liverpool. He played under different managers. He'd watched styles of play. He probably had an idea. Beale, he did say Beale's was the brains, but maybe Beale wasn't the brains. Maybe Steven Gerrard had more brains than we actually thought and gave him credit for. And also the fact that Steven Gerrard would have had a fear factor. He was a winner. He wouldn't have took that in Saturday performances like that, or even since the start of the season. That's the difference in all. I don't think the players walking into that dressing room would have been he'd done, wondering what was going to get said, because he commanded respect and he was a winner. And I think that's what we've missed for that side of Michael Beale being a manager. He was probably is a good coach, but he's still to prove himself as a manager.
Back in you come, Smurf. Back in you come, bro.
Aye, he's worrying about it's got to get done, don't get me wrong, but the investment, the outlay that we've got in the stadium, and then there's another refurbishment or an expansion or whatever of the training ground, if that's impacting on budgets to sign players, because the problem is the players aren't good enough, or no spending on players. We're all gone nuts about it, Gio, and I think we've regressed. I think we're worse now than we were under Gio. And you've got a rookie manager, right? You've got all the ingredients for disaster. A rookie manager, under-investment, experienced guys that knew what the club was all about, that been there. And I get they didn't want to be there anymore. Maybe they'd ran their course. But they'd served an apprenticeship at Rangers if you want. And they knew what it was about. They knew the pressure. They understood, and they delivered in some games, in big European ones and that. They were all cleared out. And then we bring in journeymen, guys with, Dessers had a good wee run in Europe last year. The boy Lammers has got a nice touch. I keep saying this to everybody. Best five-a-side player at Ibrox. But the thing is, it's no good enough. There's no legs, there's no energy, there's no power, there's no pace. And, I know the boy Kolak wanted to go, or Cholak wanted to go, but you're selling goals. I don't see a way forward. And unless there's investment, and unless Beale doesn't just steady the ship, turns it round 180 for where it is now, I can't see us winning anything, and I can't see us him being there beyond Christmas. That's just
the investment's difficult to get on the park, mate. You can only spend X amount. I know that. Baseball with the players were brought in, mate. So you might not be paying big fees, but are you going to go and spend 5, 6, 7, 10 million in Scotland?
No, of course not. But the thing about it is we're wage bill, etc. I get it. I don't know. I can't see. For me, I think you get better players. You must get better players for
the recruitment. It's your recruitment that's wrong. All right.
Well then,
and you come, William.
I totally agree with Smurf. Everything he's just said, and I think maybe if we haven't got the money, Oaks, maybe we need to start looking at players that are good in our league that we can pick up for like Hearts or Hibs or whatever.
That's a point Southside. That's a point that Southside was made. You might have had to have paid Hibs $3 million for but he wouldn't have been paying the wages. That was the point. I think it was 18 months he was banging on about that.
By the time he left you ago, what did they pay? $1 million? $1.5 million tops, Millwall?
If it was. I'd rather have Shankland than Nisbet, to be honest. Mainly because I think Shankland's made a goal machine, and I don't like Hibs, and I wouldn't like to give them any money. So on a personal note, I wouldn't like to really deal with Hibs unless it was pennies,
Well, that's the problem, mate. If it's the best thing for your club, are you going to cut your nose off to spite your face?
With Hibs, aye. Definitely. Mind you, hey, we've 10 players for Aberdeen, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
And we probably hate them more than we hate Hibs. But it must be close.
Sorry to interrupt. I'd take my Offski for Aberdeen or Dessels.
I'd take any other Dessels.
I'd take Joe Harper for Aberdeen. No.
I know. Or John Robertson.
Dear me.
I'd take Herrera.
Oh, he'd better movement than Dessers, mate. I'll tell you that.
Talking about good movement. Did you get a 40 at all, Ox? No. Biggin is. I'll just let you know he's sent me a 40. He's won a fishbowl, so that'll be him after the pies then. Eh? He's won a fishbowl on holiday. He's all happy with himself.
Alright, no, don't have any pictures. No, that I can think of the last time. Oh, it just popped in, mate. Alright. Aye, Biggins looking bra. Right, okay, Fox has just sent me some of his theory. I'll give you that. The problem with me is the board with no football knowledge, so there's no buffer. He's not saying there should be a director of football, he's saying maybe something different. A rookie manager, let's be honest, he is 20. I think it was 22 games he could be and a backroom staff with very little knowledge in our game or what we're looking for. Because it is unique, Jaffer, yeah.
Oh, it's a unique environment at Ibrox, Ox. They don't come much more challenging than the environment at Ibrox as far as the demands go and the size of the club and the kind of experience you need to navigate your way through on a daily basis with the kind of players. Just going back a wee bit, Ox, that's one of my theories, actually. Some of the lads were chatting there about, Smurf was talking about investment. I think we overpay for players. I think we pay too much. I mean, and I'll give you an example of that. The team that beat that lot across the city, Feyenoord, their weekly wage bill in Holland is one of the top. They just won the league there. It's just over €200,000 a week. Our weekly wage bill is over £500,000 a week.
God.
Their average pay salary is about €12,000 a week. We're paying our average salary at Ibrox is about £25,000 to £30,000 a week. And I think that's my opinion. We pay too much for players.
We've got to pay higher wages to attract them to the league we play. Not the club, mate. It's the league we play.
Aye, I'd agree with that. Yeah, I'd agree with you, mate. 100%.
By the way, the team that Brighton put out last weekend, who did they beat last weekend? Man United, was it? No, the weekend there, the weekend before. I think I read somewhere that team that started for Brighton was $16.5 million.
That's why we should have Davy Weir up the stair then.
Aye. But, well, you've got to want to be somewhere before people can make you come, mate. Yeah.
Aye. Bring me Billy Gibson with him.
But we're in for an interesting time, man. So we've got a game coming up Wednesday, and if he wins that, the board of directors and they'll say, well, that's him. He's won a European tie, got through to the semi-final of the League Cup, we've won 4 in a row, and if we keep an clean sheet, we've not lost a goal. But the natives are restless, mate.
Aye, because some people say, but it's just paper near the cracks. Because, see, to be honest, Gio done it in the European run and all. mean, the form in the league and that was patchy. Performances weren't great at times, but our European run at that time probably papered over the cracks for the league performances. No, as a lot of people said, he's probably sitting in the dock. He's waiting to see if he's going to get a guilty or a not guilty at the moment for most of the support. And some have already made up their mind. But he's got to. You can only do what you can do on Wednesday, Ox. And Livingston's probably looked at as they'll give probably plenty of room in the flanks. We'll probably put a lot of crosses in, and he'll be telling his defenders to buy big boys at the back just to make sure they win the ball. Because we don't really have a goal threat in the forward line, do we?
Have we been at the byline all season, cut one back?
No. And I think we've got to maybe look to try and play through the front, just go straight lines, try and see if we can get a number 10 on the ball with players running after him, and then we're looking to put the ball into space. And if Borner or Tav or whoever's on the flanks gets down the line, and they need to put a ball in. But see, on Sunday, it was just repetitive stuff. And a couple of times we went straight through the middle. We had a wee bit more 1-2s and started to try and make space. But honestly, unless you've got a good number 9 like Derek Johnston or Mark Hateley in your squad, which we don't, then putting that high ball in for the flanks is a waste of time.
No. I mean, Dessers is the guy who's taking, I think, most of the flack, but we're not even creating any chances, if we're being honest, Smurf.
I can know, but to try and put a positive spin on it, with all these injuries and the fact that we're both playing well, they're just hoping that because he's left with no choice, he's going to need to put the boy Lovelace on and these youngsters, you know, and try and get them serious game time at a serious level and develop them a bit. And you just hope one of them turn up trumps and cement their place in the team, you know, and sort of grow. But as you say, you're looking at it, you're thinking, where's the goals? Other than Kemar Roof, his movement is phenomenal. Other than him, but then again, you'd like somebody beside him. I mean, he'd be a great wee player to have if he were playing an old-fashioned sort of 4-4-2, wouldn't he? Playing half a Hateley or something like that. But other than Kemar Roof, you're just don't know where the goals are going to come from.
I agree. Kirk, you still there?
Yes.
Yeah. How do we make this better, mate? How do we lift the mood?
Well, I was kind of thinking about it not so long ago. I think Bale's needs a number 2 in beside him.
So would that be sort of...
Well, he's tossed the coin there, like, but really he's needing help. He is needing help. I mean, Gio is the same. He had never been beside him. And look what happened to him.
Have you anybody in mind? Don't want to put you in the spot. Anybody that you're thinking?
No, I can't really hug, but we would never get him. The boy for Brighton, like David Beer.
Well, he's in a different role now. He's doing his director of football rather than involved directly with the team, mate.
I know, but I kind of coach them back in. And other than that, I think we good coaches gone about, but I think people need a hand, to be quite honest.
All right, okay. William, when you come, mate?
That'd be Davy Martindale. What about him? Beside him. I know there's all the baggage. I know that, but he's a guy that will, you know, players are not going to get into the dressing room with him, having no given 100%. He's one of these scary. He's a scary character. I think that's when he gets the best out of his players. You know, one of these scary guys like Souness, you know, Joe Wallace, that will scare the players that much they don't want to come back into that dressing room if they've no given 100%. That is. I don't think they've got the respect for Beale because he, you know, they look at Stephen Gerrard or Graham Souness, even Walter Smith, Big McLeish. They can show you the medals, you know. Michael Beale can't really show any players medals. A lot of experienced players in there. I think some of them, you know, they're not giving him respect because he's not really done anything in the game. It's a big club. He's running a big club. He's not really done anything in the game.
I don't think you're alone in that thinking, Southside.
Aye, because he never played football even at the top level, right? I think he was at Charlton and stuff. I think it comes down to experience in that, William, as well. When they're looking at him, you know, it's a big jump. I've listened to a couple of players and that are managers now talking about when they were coaches, and every one of them said you have to go and do your groundwork. You have to go and work with different managers. One was assistant manager at a country. Other ones worked with different managers. They said, and then when you get the manager's job, they said you don't even know it. You know, it's nothing like you think, and you don't have players champing your door wanting to know why they can't get a game and all that, and this and that. He said it's a totally different thing. And that's the one thing that the board took a chance on. Listen, he had this experience. He knows what the club's about. He knows what the football's like up here. He knows all the stadiums. He knows the support. He knows the demands. So, from that point of view, he knew everything. They've just thought that he could transition from coach under Gerrard to obviously manager, and as Ox said about his record at QPR, it's not really a great grounding to get a Rangers job, is it? You know, especially if you've not been within the club and getting promoted. But we took the chance and we've took the gamble. We've got injuries. We've not played at all since the start of the season. The only glimmer of light's been the goalkeeper in the second half performance against Real Betis. And the fact that we've got to hope that it can get better, but performances need to look better, and it's down to the players. These players are going to stand up and be counted, but if there's a lack of decision or they're unsure about where Beale's gone and his tactics, that's why you're maybe seeing the best out of the players. Either that, it's got to be the system and the style. They're not all bad players, but you were going to have to go with the repeat players for the next two games because the squad's getting diminished every week. We've lost, that's probably got the best part of 5 or 6 players out now that probably would have started, or at least 4 or 5 of them would have started, and Roof carrying an injury. So,
half a team.
Aye, so we've just got to stick by him, and hopefully on Wednesday night we'll get a decent performance and a good result. But Martindale's no daft, he'll set us up. But the thing about Martindale, he's not getting a job at Rangers. If Aberdeen's not took a chance on him, Dundee United's not took a chance on him, Hibs not took a chance on him, Hearts didn't even take a chance on him. There's all clubs that could have took Davy Martindale when they were all looking for managers. Well, that's probably the reason why. So I think that could be the reason why you'll never beat Glasgow Rangers.
It's a shame.
It's Jaffa. You know, we've won 3 games in a row. We've had a magnificent result against a decent Spanish team. I'm not saying they're a top Spanish team, but a decent Spanish team. And then we've took that couple of steps forward. And it might be 2.1 steps backwards. We've took, even though we've won the game, you know. How do we lift this mood, mate?
Oh, I think the only way that they can lift the mood off his performances is just go out and play for the manager. Go out and do your job, or play for the manager and play for the fans. That's ultimately all we ask for, is just to go out and put 100% in. I mean, you're not telling me that some of the players yesterday put 100% in. I don't believe it. They didn't put the energy levels in, or the desire levels, and that's the biggest thing, Ox. That's all you're asking. And if they go out and keep winning, listen, winning football matches would remedy all this. And I know that. Well, people will say, well, he did win yesterday. That's true. He did. He absolutely did that. That's a fact. But they need to start putting some performances together, like the better second half game the other night there. That was brilliant. I think that's all the fans are asking for. They went out and they absolutely got on top of them and got right into them. And the players were all put in brilliant performances. The high majority of the players that played against Betis, and that's all so they can do it. They've proved that they can do it. So all we're asking for them is to go out and do it week in, week out. And look, I know, as you said at the start of the show, see if that's a one-off yesterday, you're not bothering about it. You're like, we got away with one there. We could be doing me a wee break of luck, considering the amount of injuries we've got. And we go back to the old firm game. If the goal that should have stood, and when we get the penalty that we should have got, it would have been 2-1 on the day, because that's what should have happened. And there's different reasons why that didn't happen. So listen, a bit of bad luck for Michael Beale as well. And for one, I hope Michael Beale can turn that around, and I genuinely hope he can. And I know I said it earlier, I would change the manager. You asked me a question, how, what's secure? But if he goes out and keeps on winning matches, all that goes away, all filters away. And I'll tell you another reason why Davy Martindale will not get the Rangers job, because his middle name's Paul.
What was Stephen Gerrard's middle name?
I can't remember.
Right, so you're saying that winning football matches lift the pressure, right? I'll ask you on Southside. The other boys can chip in quickly because we're running out of time. So we won 1-0 extra time on Wednesday night. Does that really lift the pressure more? Southside.
You're unbelievable, you are, by the way. Patience it'll be, mate. It needs to be patience. We need to be patient. We're hoping that things will change. Listen, depending on how the game goes, it shouldn't be winning again in extra time. No, Ibrox, no. We shouldn't be in the cup. But if we have to win it in extra time rather than gut it, then that's just the way it'll have to be. That's it, mate. But we need to try and be a wee bit patience and calmness, and hopefully the performance will hang me. And we'll, if you be in that stadium, man, that you'll hear the players shouting on Wednesday night. They'll be shouting at each other, because if they weren't there singing, that ground is absolutely dead. I know they never gave us anything to cheer and anything like that, but it just shows you the atmosphere's flat. The support's looking for something to happen, mate. And no, we need to win the game in 90 minutes and hopefully win by a few goals.
Jaffa, just to answer your question, I knew it was after a Beatle, Stephen Ringo Gerrard. No, it's George. Right, on you go. Same question to you, Jaffa. 1-0 extra time. We've won again. We're through to the semi-final. Does the pressure lift, or does it the screw turn?
The screw turns.
All right, okay. Listen, last word to your good self, Kirky. Great to hear from you, mate. Great to hear from you.
Cheers, mate. Thanks very much. You're the best broadcaster in the area, mate. You're really good, brilliant. I love listening to you all the time. So take care of yourself. I'm going for a 2-0 on Wednesday night with a far better performance.
Listen, you'll get that check coming through the post about Friday, mate. All right.
No, you're a brilliant show, boys. Good day watching you.
It's a big team, mate. It's a big team.
You take care.
Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot. Smurf.
Screw turns. It's screw turns after park, and it's screw turns in the dressing room as well, because I don't think he's got the full buy-in for his group. But that'll be a good night for me, chaps, and hopefully catch you later. Take it easy.
Cheers, Smurf. Cheers, mate. Boy.
Screw turns, absolutely. I've got a question for you, Oaks.
Screw taps.
The Scott Wright get a start on Wednesday.
Oh, mate, don't dare us to. You might. You might, mate. It would sound right, because we're doing it in the bare bones, mate. Let's be honest. We don't get that many options. I don't think
Seema would step in and place a Matondo.
What's that, mate?
You think Seema would step in and place a Matondo?
That's the obvious choice, I thought that was the obvious choice to bring Seema on the weekend. Then he tells you after he's got a knock, but we still bring him on. So the whole thing doesn't add up, mate.
God almighty, not another one.
Anyway, cheers, my boy.
Aye, great show once again, Oaks. Thanks for taking my call.
Cheers, mate. Cheers.
I'll speak to you soon. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers. Yeah, well, last word to your good self, Jaffa.
Aye, thanks for having me on, Ox. Good to be on Rangers Radio, and good to be on my south side and yourself, mate. And onwards and upwards.
Do you know, it was very remiss of me the day announcing, we've all been pushed that way, but one of our own, young Robert that does the show with us, Southside,
Aye.
He's doing the big Ibrox sleep out, and it's on all our social media pages of details. And obviously, if you've got any of those changes kicking about, come on, you want to get some Robert, some decent money. It's all going to the Rangers charity, so fair play to him. Fox done it a few years ago. I think Fox was on the way home for a night out and just kept in there, if I'm being honest.
I know it was early hours in the morning he turned up. I know he's might be in a bit earlier, so it was one of his night suit probably, you're right.
Right, last word for your good self.
No, it was nice to be on the night, Ox. It was good to be on with Jaffa, my good mucker, and your good self. I think we're just talking like we've talked tonight. We're just all a bit frustrated and just hoping that we'll try and turn the corner shortly and see a good performance. But looking forward to Wednesday night, mate. It'll probably be a hard game and hopefully we'll make it easier on the night. But I expect a hard game. Livingston will be set up to frustrate us, so hopefully we'll get the business done early, mate, and score a few goals.
I hope so. Listen, thanks to old Davy, Jordan, Smurf, William and Kirky for joining us. Special shout out for Kirky. Thanks to Jaffa and Southside for doing the show, Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals. A big shout out to our Robert, who's going to be doing the big Ibrox sleep out. Hats off to you, son. Thanks to everybody for listening. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10 talking about all things Rangers with the help of Fox and Old School Blue. So take it away, Old School Blue.